The exploration team had landed on the strange planet just hours earlier. The planet was known among spacefarers as a death world, a place where nature itself seemed determined to kill anything that was not native. Its skies were thick, with dark clouds that flickered with strange lightning. The ground was cracked and covered in twisted plants with colors no one had seen before. The air smelled sharp, like chemicals mixed with earth. Nothing on this world was familiar or safe. Captain Marcus stood at the edge of the landing zone, his eyes scanning the horizon. His team, dressed in protective suits, moved carefully across the rocky terrain. Each step was cautious, as if the ground might suddenly shift or a hidden creature might spring up from beneath the surface. Marcus felt the weight of responsibility. They were the first humans to arrive here, sent to gather information about the planet and its inhabitants. The mission was important, but the dangers were clear. As the sun dipped lower, the team spotted movement in the distance. Strange shapes approached slowly. The aliens of this world were unlike anything the explorers had ever seen. Their bodies were tall and thin, with skin that shimmered like oil on water. Their faces had many eyes and long tendrils where humans had hair. Despite their unusual appearance, the aliens moved with grace and intelligence. It was clear they were aware of the humans' presence. To the humans' surprise, the aliens did not attack. Instead, they made gestures that seemed peaceful, even welcoming. The explorers exchanged looks. Could this be a chance for friendship? A chance to learn and share knowledge? Captain Marcus nodded, signaling his team to stay calm and follow the aliens. The group was led through a forest of towering plants that glowed faintly in the twilight. The path wound up a hill, leading to a large clearing where a gathering awaited. A circle of alien figures stood quietly. In the center, a massive stone table was set with many strange dishes. The food looked unlike anything the humans had eaten before. Some of it pulsed softly with light. Other parts seemed to move slightly as if alive. One of the aliens stepped forward. Its many eyes blinked slowly, and it spoke in a voice that resonated in the air. Though no words were understood, the meaning was clear. This was a feast, a gesture of goodwill. The humans understood this was a test. Accepting the food meant accepting the aliens' hospitality, a step toward trust. Marcus felt the eyes of his team on him. They looked uncertain, some uneasy. The food looked dangerous. They remembered stories from other death worlds, places where even the food was deadly to outsiders. Eating could mean falling ill or worse. Refusing might insult their hosts. It was a delicate balance. The captain took a deep breath and motioned for the team to gather around the table. One by one, they studied the dishes carefully. Specialists used portable scanners to analyze the chemical makeup. The results were alarming. The food contained toxins unknown to human science, substances designed to weaken or poison non-native beings. It was clear the aliens had no intention of making the humans comfortable. This feast was a trap. Despite the danger, Marcus knew the importance of diplomacy. To show fear or refusal could spark conflict. He reached out and picked up a small piece of glowing fruit. It felt warm in his gloved hand, but also faintly alive. He glanced at his team, who waited tensely. Slowly, he took a bite. Almost immediately, his senses sharpened. Colors grew brighter, sounds clearer. But beneath the initial thrill came a faint dizziness. His body trembled slightly. He fought to stay steady. The toxins were working, but Marcus was not willing to show weakness. Others followed cautiously. Some took tiny bites. Others tested the food with their instruments first. The tension grew with each moment. The aliens watched silently, their many eyes unblinking. This was a moment of truth. Suddenly, a team member gasped and collapsed. Medical sensors beeped urgently. Marcus rushed to help, but the poison worked quickly. Panic threatened to spread. The team realized they had underestimated the aliens' cruelty. In the chaos, a sharp crack echoed. The ground beneath them shifted violently. From the shadows of the clearing, strange creatures emerged. Wild beasts native to the death world, unleashed to finish the humans. The feast was not just a trap of poison, but a staged ambush. The explorers fought back. Despite weakness, they activated their protective gear and weapons. The night burst into chaos as the humans battled for survival. Marcus's voice rose above the noise, calling for order and courage. Amid the confusion, one thing was clear. This planet was far more dangerous than expected. The aliens had used their food as a weapon, and the environment itself was hostile. But the humans were not ready to give up. Their training, technology, and willpower gave them a chance. As the battle raged, Marcus looked around at his team. Their faces were tense but determined. They were pushed to their limits, but refused to fall. The death world was trying to kill them, but humanity's spirit was stronger. When the fighting finally eased, the team regrouped. Several were hurt, but none were lost. They gathered near the landing zone, ready to report the truth. The feast had been a deadly trap, but the humans had survived. They had much to learn, and even more to prepare for. Captain Marcus made a silent promise to himself. This was only the beginning. The humans would not be caught unprepared again. They would study the death world, learn its secrets, and show the aliens that underestimating humanity was a grave mistake. The dark skies flickered with distant lightning as the explorers looked out over the strange landscape. The death world was unforgiving, but so was humanity. The story of the feast, the deadly food, and the fight for survival would become legend. It was a lesson in resilience, caution, and courage, and it was a warning to all who dared challenge the human race. The team gathered in the landing ship's small lab, a quiet room humming with the soft glow of instruments and screens. Captain Marcus paced slowly, deep in thought. The feast on. The alien death world had been a trap, but more troubling was the question: why had the aliens done it? What was their true goal? The medical officer, Lieutenant Arya, worked steadily to stabilize the injured member, while the others reviewed data collected from the strange food. The scanners had revealed complex toxins in every dish. These were not simple poisons. They were crafted with precision to disable or kill off any non-native species. It was a deliberate act of hostility disguised as hospitality. The team now understood the feast had been a test of survival, a way for the aliens to weaken potential enemies before attacking. Marcus felt the weight of their situation grow heavier. The planet itself was hostile. The toxic atmosphere, the aggressive plants, and now the alien ambush suggested a place designed to keep outsiders away. This was no friendly world. It was a fortress. Outside the lab, the team discussed their next steps. Private Len, a biologist, pointed out that many native plants released harmful spores and chemicals into the air. These poisons could be deadly. Over time, they suspected the aliens had adapted perfectly to these dangers, using them to their advantage. The humans, however, were vulnerable. To survive here, the humans needed to adapt quickly, or find ways to counter the environment's hostility. It was clear technology alone would not be enough. Understanding the planet's ecology was vital. Lieutenant Arya suggested studying the alien food more closely. Perhaps by learning how it affected the aliens themselves, the humans could find a way to neutralize its dangers. She proposed extracting samples and analyzing them with the ship's advanced biochemistry tools. Marcus agreed. The team began work immediately. Samples were taken from the remains of the feast, stored carefully in sealed containers. The medical officer and scientists used every resource to identify the poison's makeup. They discovered that the toxins targeted specific biological pathways, ones unique to non-natives. This meant the aliens were immune or resistant to their own deadly dishes. This revelation sparked hope. If the toxins were so precise, then maybe a countermeasure could be developed that blocked those pathways or removed the poison's effects. The team worked through long hours, testing different chemicals, mixing antidotes, and observing reactions. Meanwhile, outside the ship, the planet's dangers continued to press in. Strange plants moved subtly with the wind, their edges sharp and glistening. Unseen creatures prowled in the shadows, waiting for a chance to attack. The atmosphere itself seemed alive and hostile. The humans had to remain alert. Their suits filtered the air, but the toxins in the environment were powerful. Some team members reported headaches and dizziness after even brief exposure. The need for a safe shelter was urgent. Marcus ordered a small perimeter to be built around the landing zone. Using materials from the ship and parts scavenged from the environment, they constructed barriers and traps to warn against approaching threats. The team worked together, blending technology and survival skills. Days passed. The antidote tests showed promise, but progress was slow. The toxins were complex and varied. Some samples even changed composition when exposed to different conditions. The planet's biology was unlike anything humans had faced before. Tensions rose as exhaustion crept in. The team's morale wavered, but Marcus remained a steady presence. He reminded them that survival depended on patience, focus, and unity. Giving up was not an option. One afternoon, Private Len made a startling discovery. While examining a patch of alien plants, he noticed that some species thrived near others that seemed poisonous. The poisonous plants released toxins, but nearby ones absorbed or neutralized those poisons. This natural balance hinted at a method for survival. Inspired, the team began searching for these neutralizing plants. They gathered samples and tested them alongside the poisons. Slowly, a natural antidote emerged. A combination of alien extracts that, when prepared correctly, could protect humans from the food's toxins. Excitement spread through the team. With this newfound knowledge, they could prepare safer meals and resist the aliens' deadly traps. But the question remained: how would the aliens react if the humans stopped falling into their snares? Marcus considered the larger picture. The Deathworld was a battleground, and the aliens used every tool at their disposal to keep outsiders away. The feast was just one of many dangers. If humans wanted to survive here, they needed to be clever, strong, and ready to fight back. That evening, the team gathered in the ship's mess. For the first time, they shared a meal made from the alien plants mixed with their new antidote. The food was strange and bitter, but safe. They ate slowly, savoring the victory of survival. Outside, the dark skies roiled with storms, and the sounds of the Deathworld echoed across the land. But inside, the humans felt a spark of hope. They had turned a deadly trap into a tool for survival. Suddenly, a warning beep echoed through the ship. Sensors detected movement near the perimeter. Marcus stood quickly, signaling the team to prepare. The Deathworld was restless, and the aliens might be testing their strength once more. As the team readied themselves, Marcus knew the fight had only begun. The aliens had tried to weaken them with food and poison, but humanity's resolve was stronger. They had learned, adapted, and survived. This was not just a battle for food or life. It was a test of spirit, and the humans were ready to prove they would not be defeated. The cold hum of the ship's laboratory filled the room as the team gathered around a table strewn with alien plant samples and chemical vials. Captain Marcus studied the curious arrangement of glowing flora. The discovery of the natural antidote had given them hope, but turning that hope into a practical solution required careful work. Lieutenant Arya adjusted the scanner settings while Private Len prepared fresh samples from the field. The scientists had come a long way since arriving on the hostile Deathworld. Each day brought new challenges and lessons. They learned to recognize which plants were deadly and which offered protection. But adapting the antidote into something humans could safely consume was a complex puzzle. Alien biology was unpredictable, often changing under different conditions. Arya pipetted a clear liquid into a small container. The liquid shimmered faintly as it reacted with a crushed leaf. The reaction was promising. The poisonous compounds began to break down rapidly. She glanced at Marcus, a hint of relief in her tired eyes. "This could work," she said quietly. Outside, the thick clouds blocked the stars, and the wind carried strange sounds. The Death World's wild nature never rested. The team was all too aware that the alien threat was not limited to poisoned food. The planet itself was an enemy, with poisonous spores drifting through the air and unseen predators lurking in the shadows. Marcus's mind raced with possibilities. If they could synthesize the antidote in larger quantities, the team could prepare meals safe enough to maintain strength. But beyond survival, they needed an edge. The aliens had shown themselves to be cunning and ruthless. Outsmarting them would require more than chemistry. It would demand human ingenuity. That evening, the scientists gathered in a cramped room filled with data terminals and specimen jars. They worked side by side, testing mixtures and adjusting formulas. Arya carefully noted each change while Len tested the antidote's effect on small plant samples. The atmosphere was tense but focused, the kind of pressure that inspired breakthroughs. Suddenly, a beep from a monitor caught everyone's attention. A new set of data had arrived from a remote sensor placed near the landing zone. The reading showed fluctuations in the local environment, subtle but unusual. Marcus frowned, sensing that the planet was responding to their presence in ways they had not expected. Minutes later, the ship's communication officer announced incoming signals from alien sources. The transmissions were faint but clear. Messages, in complex patterns that hinted at warning or challenge. The aliens knew the humans were adapting. The Death World was not going to surrender its secrets easily. Marcus gathered the team for a briefing. "They are watching," he said firmly. "Every step we take here is being recorded. We must be cautious, but we cannot stop. We need to learn faster and be ready for what comes next." Private Len spoke up. "The plants near the landing zone show signs of rapid change. It's like the environment itself is shifting in response to us." The idea was unsettling, but made sense. This world was alive in more ways than one, and it was fighting back. The team decided to expand their research zone, venturing cautiously into new areas to collect more samples. Each trip was planned carefully, balancing the need for knowledge with safety. The explorers moved through dense groves of strange vegetation and across rocky ridges where the wind carried acidic mist. During one expedition, Len discovered a hidden valley filled with plants that seemed untouched by the poisonous spores. The flora here was vibrant, almost peaceful compared to the deadly growths elsewhere. This sanctuary offered more clues to the planet's natural balance. It was as if the Death World had pockets of refuge, places where life thrived in harmony, despite the dangers. Back at the ship, the team analyzed the sanctuary plants and found compounds that enhanced the antidote's power. This breakthrough allowed them to improve their formulas, making the antidote more effective and easier to produce. For the first time, the humans felt a real advantage. At the same time, the human soldiers trained in combat tactics that took the environment into account. They learned to use the terrain and native plants to their benefit, turning the planet's weapons against any attacker. The Death World's hazards became tools rather than threats. Marcus watched the team's progress with pride. The explorers had become more than survivors. They were adapting to an alien world that wanted them gone. Their resilience was a testament to humanity's strength. One night, as the team gathered around a makeshift table, Marcus reflected on how far they had come. They were no longer just visitors. They were pioneers on a planet that challenged every part of their being. Their mission had transformed from simple exploration to survival and dominance. Suddenly, alarms sounded across the ship. The sensors detected rapid movement near the perimeter. The team rushed to their stations, ready for confrontation. The aliens were approaching, but this time, the humans were prepared. The battle that followed was fierce. Using their knowledge of the death world, the humans set traps and ambushes that turned the tide. They fought not only with weapons, but with understanding of their environment. Each strike was calculated, every move strategic. After the skirmish, the aliens retreated, leaving the humans with new confidence. The message was clear. Humanity was no easy prey. The death world was tough, but the humans were tougher. Marcus knew that this was only the beginning. The team's fight was far from over, but they had proven something vital. Intelligence, courage, and the willingness to learn made humans formidable opponents. As the storm clouds rolled across the sky, the explorers prepared for what lay ahead. The death world had tested them and found them strong. The aliens had underestimated the power of human ingenuity. The story of their survival was becoming legend, a tale of a species that refused to be defeated by poison, poisoned food, or a hostile planet. Humanity was adapting, growing stronger, and ready to face any challenge. The news spread quickly across the alien colonies. Stories of humans surviving the death world's deadly traps and poisons became impossible to ignore. In crowded chambers where alien leaders gathered, whispers turned into urgent debates. Humans were not like other species. They adapted fast, learned quickly, and seemed to grow stronger the more danger they faced. This realization unsettled the rulers deeply. High above the alien cities, the Council of Elders met in a grand hall filled with glowing panels and shifting holograms. The Elders' many eyes narrowed as they watched the latest reports from the border world. Commander Zarthal, a stern figure with sharp horns and a voice like grinding stone, spoke first. These humans, they survive where others perish. They eat our poisons and live. They fight with our weapons and win. This defies all reason, Zarthal said, his tone low but tense. An elder with soft violet skin responded, "We must find their weakness. Their strength cannot be allowed to grow. If they learn our death world secrets, they will become unstoppable." The council agreed to send their best spies and soldiers to study the humans. Their goal was simple: uncover the secrets of human resilience and find a way to break it. The death world was their fortress, but if humans conquered it, the balance of power would shift forever. Meanwhile, on the human side, Captain Marcus stood before his team, who had just returned from a long expedition. Their faces showed signs of fatigue, but also determination. They had pushed deeper into the death world, uncovering more of its strange ecosystems and gathering data that could turn the tide. Lieutenant Arya shared their findings. The planet's dangers are real and constant. Poisonous plants, toxic air, and aggressive wildlife all work together to protect the aliens. But we found patterns. The death world's environment is a complex web of checks and balances. Private Len nodded. Some alien species depend on others. If one is removed, the whole system weakens. This could be useful. Marcus looked at his team. We have to use what we learn. Every discovery is a tool for survival. We're not just fighting the aliens. We're facing the planet itself. The humans also sent messages to their homeworld, describing the harsh realities and the need for reinforcements. They hoped that soon, more humans would join them, bringing fresh skills and resources. Back in the alien territories, tensions grew. The death world was more than just a battlefield. It was a symbol of alien power. Losing control of it to humans meant losing face and influence. Some alien factions began to argue over how to deal with the threat. A young alien officer named Kira voiced a different view. Maybe we underestimate humans. They are strong because they adapt. Fighting them head-on might only make them stronger. Perhaps there is a way to negotiate, to learn from each other. Her words were met with silence and suspicion, but a few others quietly agreed. The idea of peace was dangerous, yet intriguing. On the Death World, human soldiers trained relentlessly. They practiced moving through the hazardous landscape, using the environment against their enemies. They learned to hide in poisonous fogs, set traps with alien plants, and navigate the deadly terrain with skill. Their engineers developed new gear, blending human technology with alien materials. Protective suits became lighter yet stronger, weapons more precise. The humans were becoming part of the Death World, not just invaders. One day, while scouting near an ancient alien ruin, Private Len found strange markings carved into stone walls. They told stories of past battles and warnings. The humans realized that the Death World had a long history of conflict and survival. Many species had tried and failed to conquer it. This knowledge gave Marcus a new idea. If history showed the planet's dangers, it might also show weaknesses. He ordered his team to study the ruins carefully, searching for forgotten weapons or strategies. While the humans prepared, the aliens launched small raids to test their strength. These skirmishes were fierce, but short. The humans' new tactics and knowledge kept them alive and victorious more often than not. During one attack, Marcus faced Commander Zarthul in battle. The two leaders circled each other, weapons drawn. Zarthul sneered. "You humans think you can survive here? You will fall like the rest." Marcus replied steadily. "We survive because we learn, and we will not fall." The fight ended without death, but it marked a turning point. Both sides realized the war would be long and costly. That night, as storm clouds gathered overhead, Marcus sat alone thinking. The Death World was a brutal test of will, but humanity had passed its hardest trials so far. The team's spirit and determination were stronger than ever. He knew the aliens would not give up. The next phase of the war was coming, a time when cunning, courage, and unexpected alliances would decide who ruled the Death World. Marcus stood and looked out over the strange landscape. The future was uncertain, but one thing was clear. Humans were no longer the hunted. They were the challengers, and the Death World would never be the same. The morning mist hung low over the jagged rocks surrounding the human camp. The soldiers moved quietly, their steps careful on the uneven ground. Captain Marcus watched from a ridge above, his eyes sharp and alert. Today, the humans would strike back against the aliens who had long used the Death World's dangers as weapons against them. The plan was bold. Instead of waiting for another ambush or trap, the humans intended to turn the tables. They had discovered how the aliens stored their food supplies, the very poisons meant for outsiders. By contaminating these stores with a modified toxin, harmless to humans but deadly to the alien species, the humans could cripple their enemies from within. Lieutenant Arya oversaw the preparations. She mixed chemicals and alien plant extracts to create the new poison. It was a delicate process. The goal was not to cause unnecessary destruction, but to weaken the enemy enough to gain the upper hand. Her team worked methodically, aware of the risks but confident in their science. Meanwhile, the soldiers trained in guerrilla tactics, learning to move swiftly through the Death World's hostile terrain. They practiced setting traps using native plants and lures that mimicked alien calls. The humans were becoming masters of the land they once feared. Marcus gathered his officers for a final briefing. "Our strength is in surprise and knowledge," he said firmly. "The aliens have underestimated us for too long. Now it is time to show them that humans fight with more than weapons. We fight with intelligence and will." The operation began, under the cover of dawn. Small teams split off to target key supply depots scattered across the alien territory. They moved like shadows, avoiding patrols and using the thick fog to mask their presence. Private Len led a group toward a storage cave hidden beneath twisted vines. Inside, sacks of alien food rested on stone shelves. Carefully, Len's team poured the modified poison into the supplies. The work was slow and tense. Any mistake could expose them to danger. Elsewhere, other squads sabotaged communication lines and set alarms to create confusion. The death world seemed alive with noise and movement. But the humans remained focused. Each step brought them closer to turning the enemy's strength against them. As the sun climbed higher, reports came in. The poison was taking effect. Alien. Soldiers who consumed the tainted food became weak and disoriented. Panic spread quickly among the ranks. The Death World's rulers were caught off guard by this new threat. Commander Zarthul, watching from a distant command post, clenched his fists in anger. "Humans use trickery," he growled. "They poison our food and attack in shadows. We must respond swiftly, or lose everything." In the midst of chaos, some alien factions began to question their leadership. Whispered rumors of rebellion stirred among the lower ranks. The humans' actions had shaken more than just their bodies. They had shaken their confidence. Back at the human camp, Marcus received word that allies from oppressed alien groups had made contact. These factions sought freedom from the harsh rule of the Death World's elite. They offered valuable information and support in exchange for protection. The captain welcomed this news. "We are not alone," he said. "Together, we can change the future of this planet." With new allies, the humans expanded their reach. Joint operations disrupted supply lines and rescued captured prisoners. The Death World's grip loosened. As hope spread among its inhabitants, the battle for survival took on new meaning. It was no longer just humans against aliens. It was a fight for justice and freedom in a land long ruled by fear. Yet the fight was not easy. The Death World pushed back with fury. Toxic storms swept across the land, forcing soldiers to take shelter. Wild creatures attacked in packs, drawn by the chaos. Each victory came with a cost. During one mission, Lieutenant Arya narrowly escaped a deadly trap. Poisonous vines ensnared her leg, injecting a paralyzing toxin. Quick thinking and her own antidote saved her, but the incident reminded everyone of the planet's dangers. Marcus visited her afterward, admiration clear in his eyes. "You fought well," he said. "We all must stay sharp. This world is relentless." The team grew closer, bound by shared hardship and resolve. Even in the darkest moments, they found strength in their unity. One evening, as the camp settled under a sky painted with alien stars, Marcus reflected on their journey. They had turned the Death World's own weapons against their foes, forged alliances, and survived countless trials. The humans were no longer outsiders. They were a force to be reckoned with. But the war was far from over. Zarthul's forces would regroup, bringing new strategies and fierce determination. The humans had made a powerful enemy. Still, Marcus believed in their cause. "We fight not just for ourselves," he told his team. "We fight for every soul seeking hope. This planet will be a home for all who dare to live free." As night deepened, the camp grew quiet. The sounds of the Death World continued beyond the walls, a reminder of the danger still lurking. But within the hearts of the humans burned a fierce fire. They had fought back. They had taken the first step toward victory, and they would not stop until the Death World belonged to those brave enough to claim it. The sky over the Death World darkened as massive alien warships descended from the swirling clouds. Their shapes were vast and menacing, casting long shadows over the rocky landscape below. Captain Marcus stood on a ridge, eyes fixed on the approaching fleet. The moment of truth had come. The alien empire was sending its finest warriors to crush the human threat once and for all. The human camp buzzed with activity. Soldiers checked their weapons, engineers calibrated defensive systems, and medics prepared for the worst. Despite the looming danger, the mood was steady. Years of hardship had forged the team into a unit stronger than any enemy. They had faced poison, predators, and traps, and now they faced the Empire's full might. Lieutenant Arya moved among the troops, offering quiet words of encouragement. She knew fear could cripple even the bravest. Her calm presence was a reminder that survival depended on focus and courage. Marcus gathered his officers for one last briefing. "This battle will decide our fate on this world," he said. "We fight not just for ourselves, but for every life depending on us. Stay sharp. Trust each other. We will not back down." As the first warships landed, soldiers took their positions. The aliens poured out, armored, fierce, and ready for blood. Their weapons glowed with deadly energy, firing streams of light that cut through the air. The humans fought back with equal fury. They used the Death World's terrain to their advantage, setting traps in narrow canyons, ambushing from above, and using the toxic fog to hide their movements. Each skirmish was brutal and fast, with both sides gaining and losing ground. Marcus led a squad through a dense forest of poisonous plants. He signaled to halt, watching as an alien patrol advanced ahead. With a quick gesture, he unleashed a well-placed explosive. The blast stunned the enemy, giving his team a crucial opening. Elsewhere, Private Len coordinated a group disabling alien communication arrays. Without contact, the alien forces struggled to organize, their attacks becoming chaotic. The battle raged on for hours. The humans' technology and strategy began to wear down the alien soldiers. The Death World, once an enemy, had become a battlefield, favoring those who understood its dangers. Yet the aliens were relentless. Commander Zarthul appeared on the front lines, his presence rallying the troops. His powerful voice rang out, commanding attacks and inspiring loyalty. The humans faced a leader as fierce as the land itself. During a fierce clash near a ruined temple, Marcus confronted Zarthul again. Their weapons met in a clash of sparks and energy. The fight was fierce, testing both leaders' skill and willpower. Zarthul sneered, "You cannot win here, human. This world is ours by right." Marcus replied, "It is ours by courage. We fight for those who cannot." Their duel ended with a narrow escape, but the message was clear. The war was far from over. Back at the camp, medics tended to the wounded. The cost of victory was high, yet the human spirit remained unbroken. Each life saved was a testament to their determination. As night fell, Marcus addressed his weary team. "We have fought hard today, but tomorrow brings new challenges. Rest now. We stand together, and together we will prevail." The soldiers settled beneath the alien stars, their minds alert, but bodies tired. The Death World was quiet for a moment, as if holding its breath. Suddenly, alarms blared. Sensors detected an unexpected movement. An alien fleet returning faster than predicted, bringing reinforcements. The humans had little time to prepare. Marcus knew the fight was escalating. The enemy's resolve was strong, but so was humanity's. With renewed determination, the team prepared defenses, knowing the next battle could be the fiercest yet. The Death World was a place of endless struggle, but the humans had shown they would never yield. As the first light of dawn touched the alien horizon, Marcus stood ready. The final battle was at hand, and humanity's fate rested on their strength, unity, and unyielding spirit. The first light of dawn spilled across the rugged terrain, casting long shadows on the battered camp. Captain Marcus stood at the forefront, his gaze steady on the horizon where the last of the alien warships retreated into the swirling clouds. The final battle had ended, but the weight of victory was heavy. The Death World was scarred, its creatures wary, and the humans, though victorious, were far from safe. The air smelled of smoke and dust. The ground bore the marks of fierce combat, craters, broken weapons, and the remnants of alien machines. Soldiers moved among the wounded, their faces marked with exhaustion but also quiet pride. The humans had fought against overwhelming odds and survived. They had turned a deadly trap into a new beginning. Lieutenant Arya checked the medical reports. Many were hurt, some severely, but no lives were lost. This was a miracle given the ferocity of the fight. She offered Marcus a small nod of reassurance. Their preparations, adaptations, and courage had made the difference. Marcus gathered his team beneath a battered canopy. His voice carried strength, despite the weariness. "We face death and danger every day. The Death World tried to break us, but it only made us stronger. We showed that humanity is not easily defeated." Private Len stepped forward, holding a small device that displayed images from the battlefield. The aliens retreated, their forces fractured. Many now question their leaders. This world is changing. The news spread quickly among the allied alien factions. Many who once feared the Empire now saw humans as symbols of hope and resilience. Some approached cautiously, offering alliances and aid. The Death World, once a place of fear, began to feel like a place of possibility. Despite the victory, Marcus knew the challenges ahead were many. The Death World's environment remained hostile. Poisonous plants and toxic air were still threats. The aliens might regroup, seeking revenge. The humans had won a battle, but the war for survival and peace continued. The team worked to rebuild their camp, fortifying defenses and improving shelters. Engineers developed new technologies using both human innovation and alien resources. This blend of knowledge created tools stronger and more efficient than before. One evening, Marcus walked alone through the darkening landscape. The silence was unusual and unsettling. The Death World was a wild place, always alive with hidden sounds. He paused by a strange glowing plant, remembering the first moments of their arrival. The fear, the uncertainty. Now, that fear was replaced by determination. Humans had faced a Death World designed to kill them and survived through intelligence, unity, and spirit. They had adapted, learned, and fought back. The aliens' greatest mistake had been underestimating humanity's will. Back at the camp, the team gathered around a holographic map. Discussions focused on exploring deeper into the planet, establishing permanent bases, and forging stronger alliances. The dream of a new home was no longer distant. It was within reach. Marcus addressed his team once more. "This is our chance to build something lasting, to prove that humans can thrive even in the harshest places. We are not just survivors. We are pioneers." The soldiers cheered softly, their spirits lifted. The Death World had tested them, but it had also united them. Each member knew the path ahead would be hard, but together they could face anything. In the following weeks, the humans expanded their territory. They introduced safer food sources, purified water supplies, and cultivated alien plants for medicine. Their understanding of the planet grew with every step. The alien factions watching from afar reconsidered their stance. Some sought peace, recognizing that fighting humans only brought destruction. Others remained hostile, but their power was diminished. Marcus met with leaders from allied alien groups. Together, they discussed governance and shared goals. The dream of a peaceful coexistence on the Death World seemed possible. Yet Marcus remained vigilant. The Death World was unpredictable, and the scars of war ran deep. He reminded his people, "We must respect this planet and its history. Strength without wisdom is dangerous." As the sun set over the rugged mountains, The camp settled into a quiet rhythm. Fires flickered, conversations drifted softly, and the stars blinked above. The humans had made the death world their home, but their story was far from over. They had proven that challenging humanity was a fatal mistake. Against poisons, predators, and alien empires, humans stood firm. Their resilience, ingenuity, and heart had won the day. And as the night deepened, Marcus looked to the stars with hope. The future was uncertain, but one thing was clear: humanity's spirit would burn bright, lighting the way for generations to come.